Okay, let's dive into this. We're going to talk about artificial intelligence, which is, arguably the most powerful tool of our time, and its incredibly complicated, super high stakes role in cybersecurity. And this phrase, it just nails it, right? This is the central conflict we're exploring. AI isn't simply a tool for the good guys or the bad guys. It's a powerful tool for both at the exact same time. It's the ultimate double-edged sword. For every fortress AI helps us build, it's also handing the attackers a brand new battering ram. This is creating a crazy arms race where the battlefield is completely digital. And what's at stake is, well, everything. Our data, our privacy, our security. So, let's start on the dark side. Let's look at the threat. How exactly are the destroyers using AI to get the upper hand? It all comes down to mindset. The folks who build our technology, the builders, think in a completely different way from those who want to break it. Builders are focused on making things work, adding features, creating something useful. The destroyers, they only need to find one single mistake, one little crack for it to fail. And AI is putting their power on steroids. AI gives attackers a whole new bag of tricks. They can actually trick an AI into spilling secrets. They can just ask it to write them some nasty malware. They can create millions of super personalized, totally believable phishing emails. And get this, they can even automate the hunt for security holes, moving at a speed and scale that we have just never seen before. And that right there, that reveals the core problem. The very thing that makes AI so powerful, all that massive knowledge, all the text and code it's trained on, is also its biggest weakness. Every single piece of that data is a potential doorway for an attacker. It's a huge attack surface. This really highlights the brutal reality of cybersecurity. The defense has to be perfect. They have to patch every single hole, block every single attack. The offense, they just need to find one way in, just one. It's a completely unfair fight. So, how in the world do you defend against that? Well, that's only one side of the coin. AI isn't just a weapon for the attackers. It's also turning into the defender's most powerful new friend. See, in every big company, you've got these human security analysts on the front lines. They work in what's called a Security Operations Center, or SOC. And these poor folks are just drowning. They're buried in a constant flood of alerts and log files. It's just an impossible amount of noise for any person to sift through. And this is where AI is an absolute game changer for the defense. It can do the tireless work 24/7, sifting through billions of signals, connecting the dots between millions of tiny events to find that one faint signal of a real attack. This frees up the human experts to do what they do best, use their judgment to make those final critical calls. Okay, so if AI is so great at finding threats, you might be thinking, why don't we just hand over the keys and let it run the show? Well, the answer gets into some of its really fundamental limits. And this is such a critical question. AI models are literally designed to be convincing. They produce text that sounds fluent, proper, and super authoritative. But here's the catch. Sounding right and being right are two totally different things. You know these hallucinations we hear about? That's not some weird bug. It's a core feature of how the technology works. It's built to give you a plausible answer, not necessarily a true one. It has no real judgment, its information can be old, and like we saw earlier, it's pretty easy to fool. So what do? We can't just let the AI run wild. To make it a tool we can actually rely on for something as important as security, we have to build systems that guide its behavior. And this is the most important part, verify its output. We need to build guardrails. So here's how that works. This process turns the AI from a kind of unreliable fortune teller into a powerful, verifiable tool. You make it check its own work, you force it to only use data you trust, and this is non-negotiable. You never, ever take the human out of the loop. That final step always has to be a person. This all brings us to the ultimate strategy. See, the goal of cybersecurity isn't to achieve this impossible dream of being 100% secure. That's a total myth. The real goal is to make smart business decisions. It's about managing risk. It's about looking at everything you have and understanding you can't protect it all equally. So you have to protect what's most important to keep things running. A risk-based approach means you focus your absolute best defenses, your human experts, your AI assistants, the whole shebang, on the crown jewels. That's the data and systems that your organization absolutely cannot live without. For everything else, you accept a little more risk.
So here's the real takeaway. AI is a phenomenal assistant. It boosts our abilities, it makes us way faster and more effective. But it doesn't replace our responsibility to think critically, to use our judgment, and to make those big strategic calls about risk. That's still on us.
And as this tech gets woven into everything we do, this battlefield extends way beyond just big companies. It's in our workplaces, our personal lives. In a world that's going to be full of AI-generated fakes, the most important security tool you have might just be your own critical thinking. So the question for all of us is, how will you verify what's real?